The name of this story is Bigfoot versus Dogman, a Little Rock story. One weekend, Matthew and Rose, Rhonda and Lonzo went to their family country home to hang out and just to enjoy the fresh air and the sights of nature. This was a 50-acre spread and it was beautiful. There were woods for miles and miles and creeks that led to the ponds. And there were 7 of them on the land. Each one had a road that led to them. Some was a short distance from the house. They were spread all over the land. And they were all nice size with big oak, cherry, willows, maples, and pine trees all around them. So thick that it looked like huge shadows seemed to hover in the thickness of them. We didn't have any plans to go to any of the back ponds because there were always weird and strange things that would be seen and heard all through that side of the land. Sounds like something or someone banging on a large tree, and it always came in threes, and they would echo through the woods every time we would go back there. It would creak on each side of the ponds. We stopped going back there after the wood knocks started because they would always be followed with heavy ass footsteps with sounds of limbs being broken off trees as it would be creeping closer and closer but staying in the shadows of out of the sight. And this would be followed with something sounding like woo, woo, that would be somewhere behind us. And then seconds later, it would woo, woo on the side of us. And a few times there would be logs thrown in the water in front of us. At times, the trees would be shaking violently. And that's why we would be staying close to the house, because that shit back there was spooky as hell. And we were going to keep our distance and stay away from whatever those creatures was that was lurking back there, because we know it was 2 of them. We got settled in and fixed us something to eat after our long ride getting here, and we went straight in the house because nothing looked out of place when we got here. We hadn't been out here in 6 months when all that weird shit was going on. We hoped that whatever those things was had passed on. So we went out on the porch to enjoy the rest of the morning with a cup of coffee and to plan what we were going to do first. Hiking, swimming, or fishing, or ride the ATVs. We decided to ride the ATVs around while the day was still young and bright. After we had another cup of coffee, we headed to the shed behind the house. As we went around the house, we noticed that something that looked like scratches under the windows and the back door. Long ass scratches. What's those? Asked Rhonda and Rose. Matthew and Lonzo were staring at the windows and door and was wondering themselves what they was, because they were not there 6 months ago when they was here last. And these scratches was deep, like something had clawed them there. And they looked at each other, puzzled, and didn't know what to say about them. As they proceeded to the shed, and there again was these strange scratches on it also. Now, they were really concerned and wondering again what the hell was doing this. Then they heard rustling behind the shed, and there was a horrible smell in the air. And whatever it was, had ran behind the shed. Sounded huge on 2 feet. And when they looked around the shed, they only smelled that terrible scent and seen where some of the trees had been broken as whatever it was went through there and was gone. They didn't see anything, but they smelled it and heard it as it was going back through the woods. They was on edge and kind of nervous, so They changed their minds about riding for now and went back inside because the air was foul and it was burning their eyes. Now, they were saying, trying to figure out where the scratches was coming from. And they would say it was a bear, but it might have been a bear that was running back through the trees. But bears don't smell that bad. They said they would go out later in the day. So they started in to look at one of the new movies they had brought. And they had watched half of the movie when they heard a long, loud howl in the distance of the woods, but couldn't quite tell where it was coming from. And it did this over and over again, never getting closer, but louder and louder. Then suddenly it was gone. Man, what the hell? I mean, what the fuck was that? And which way was it coming from? They couldn't tell because it vibrated through the woods that surrounded the house and land. It was followed by that damn woo, woo sound. Then a loud ass whistle that went on for a couple of minutes rang out clearly. Then it sounded like an angry, huge ape was out there, where those whistles and woo, woo was coming from. Then there was that howling again, mixed with growling this time. It sounded like these creatures were, whatever they was fighting somewhere back there where this spooky shit was going on. We was curious as what was going on back there, but we were also afraid of what these things could be. But we wanted to know. So we got in the truck and slowly drove back that way. We had the windows rolled down and we were still hearing this war going on between something, and they sounded massive. As we made our way on the backside and rounded the curve, there was two massive creatures going at it, and they were huge, standing about 9 feet tall. One looked like a very huge ape, and the other one like a wolf or a German shepherd. They were massive, and there on the ground was one of the biggest buck you ever wanted to see. But we couldn't tell how many points it had because it had his head ripped off and it was nowhere in sight. These massive beasts was fighting over the deer that lay there on the ground by them. We had lived in Little Rock all our life, and we have had this spread for 27 years and never knew that these creatures was here. We only heard things, but never expected anything like these beasts. One looked like King Kong, and the other one was the biggest, tallest dog or wolf we have ever seen on two legs. And when we came to a stop, some good distance away, the wolf creature bit the ape beast on the neck, and it pulled it off of him and slammed it to the ground and began stomping on it as it bit at the feet that was stomping it in the face, the chest, the neck, and all over while it was trying to get back up. But it didn't have a chance because this thing was stomping the hell out of the dog creature. Then suddenly it got up and ran as fast as it could back through the woods, howling in pain, not looking back one time, and it was gone. Then the ape beast picked up that big ass deer like it was nothing, looked at us, and walked the other way back into the woods and was gone in seconds. We turned our asses around and went back to the house, got our stuff, and got the hell out of there. And this was the first time of us speaking about it because we knew no one would believe us. So be careful how you walk around Little Rock because there is something out there lurking. Thank you.